Okay. All right, I'm starting the recording now. So, yeah, I normally have an ability to turn off the waiting room. Oh, here, I'm going to turn it off now.
Okay, good.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you. If you want me to, if we acknowledge you or if you win a prize, woo, we want to make sure you have your right name. I know that people often share Zoom licenses, so we're going to call you by the name as it appears on the screen. Just an FYI there. We'll be getting started shortly. All right. All right. Did I share the right screen or did I share the screen with everybody's face? Are you all able to see the PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes, we
The
are.
introduction. But you don't see the meeting chat sitting on top of that, do you?
No, we do not.
Okay, good. Because I have a little cheat sheet there. Thank you. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Manny. I haven't met you before. Manny, the great Leonardo's dad, I assume. Steely, Kim, Mary, Lindsay, it's lovely to meet all of you. We're expecting a really good turnout. Tonight we had like 60 parents register, so thank you very much for that strong interest. Um, and give me a second here. Oh, I'm not able to. Huh. All right, I'm not able to see my notes, but I'm sure I can do. This is the agenda for tonight. We're going to introduce ourselves, Vicky and I want to talk about our plans for growth and improvement, our AI policy and the process for how it's evolving. I'm sure that's why you're mostly here, and then have time for your questions and comments. A reminder, we have the beginning of course parent and student surveys going on right now, and we highly value your responses. We have had technical glitches that we're gonna fix before we do this again. So if you've received multiple requests and you already filled that out, thank you for your patience. If you haven't received a survey for each of your classes, please check in your inbox, and if you can't find it, request that from Vicky. Um, and Also, we have a Give, Send, Go fund going. One of our families was devastated by the by flooding, and we just want to help contribute with multiple efforts that are going on to try to help to meet their needs. We've had a very nice response to our Give, Send, Go fund for that family. You will find the link to that Give, Send, Go fund on the announcements when you sign into Canvas, to AAO's Canvas dashboard. We're encouraging our students to participate. Any amount is welcome. I'm very pleased. We raised several $1,000s a few years ago when one of our families was wiped out by the hurricane in Puerto Rico. And this family in North Carolina is a similar situation. So I'm hoping that we could raise perhaps a couple $1,000s to help them. And if there's anybody else affected in a similar way, and these families are without flood insurance, they were living outside of the floodplain, so that wasn't anything that was provided. So folks are really have legitimate need here. So let's get started. I'm gonna start by introducing myself to everyone, and then I'll have my colleague and my partner in crime, Vicky, tell you what she does. So I'm Deb Bell. If you don't know that, I'm the founder and the executive director of AIM Academy Online. We started in 2011. Vicky and I were the only teachers. I taught English, she taught science. We had 50 students. And Today we're approaching 800 students this year at AIM Academy. We're thrilled, about a 35% increase over last year. And last year we had a 20% increase. So we're in a period of that's pretty strong growth. Like it's all that we could handle, to be frank. So what do I do at AIM Academy is as the executive director, I am focused on the business. I handle all the marketing and the sales and all of our legalities, all of our finances. So I'm really behind the scenes, more and more working on the business. I am making a concerted effort to position us for the future so that AIM can outlast me because we have many teachers who are supporting themselves through AIM Academy, and we want to be there for them. We want to be there for our families and for our current students and their children. My grandchildren are taking classes here at AIM Academy, so I'm pretty invested in the future of AIM Academy. And Vicki is the Director of Student Services. And so she has joined me as a co-owner in the past, I think this is year 4 of her being a part of the co-ownership here of AIM Academy. And she's in charge of operations. So, Vicki, why don't you briefly let families know a little bit of what you do?
I wear many hats, but I am the director of student services, as Deborah said, and I work at enrolling your students when you register for courses. I'm the one who processes those and enrolls them in their classes. I also help with any kind of technical support that happens. If your student loses their password, then have them email me and I will reset their password for them. The little "I forgot my password" link doesn't seem to work on Canvas at all. So I'm the one you want to contact. I also support the teachers. I am their technical guru. I help them with all things technical and help them. I'm in charge of hiring. I get them all set up. I get them going. I get their Canvas courses, help them get their Canvas courses ready, and just kind of do the day-to-day things that need to be done for students and for teachers. So it's fun. I miss the classroom a little bit. I spent 25 years teaching, but this is fun too. I like supporting the teachers a lot.
Yeah, and we couldn't do it without Vicki. I shudder to think. She was the one who came to me right before COVID. We had no idea COVID was going to happen and asked if she could just help me because she could see me struggling. And then COVID hit, which was hugely disruptive, but a big part of our growth. So, anyways, we're really trying to figure this out. So let me move now to talking about our future and what our plans are in the immediate future, what's going on. There's going to be time for your feedback. That's why we're doing this, is so that we can solicit your feedback and your reaction to all the information that we share. So at AIM Academy, we are future forward and research driven. Um, in contrast, or as a way for you to think about us in terms of other homeschool paradigms. So we really look at the future. We want to help prepare students for the 21st century. Vicki and I homeschooled together. Our 4 children, K through 12, they're all out of the home. They all went to college. They all have jobs. Okay. And we really want to help you prepare your children for the future. So we're looking at 21st century skills, and we're research driven. I have a PhD in educational psychology. I'm very interested in what works. And so I spend a lot of time looking into, in particular, what are the outcomes, what kind of educational outcomes are homeschool families really striving for when they choose to home educate? And what is the best that we can achieve in an online environment? So there are hurdles and barriers and there are disadvantages to an online environment, but what are also the opportunities and what's the best that we can create? So we're passionate about creating the optimal educational context for your kids online. And one of the main areas that we're really focused on is student engagement. And this is because if students are not engaged, they don't learn. So the only situation in which students are learning is situations in which kids are turning their brains on, focusing their attention, and putting forth their effort into the task at hand. So I think if many of you homeschooled when your kids were younger, this image that I have here kind of reflects what the ultimate of homeschooling. Our kids are hands-on, they are free to do what they choose to do, they're pursuing their interests, they're outdoors, they're investigating and they're learning all the time. And that why they learn in that kind of immersive environment, this multi-sensory environment where all of their five senses are engaged, is because that's how the brain best processes information. So, what can we do in an online environment where it is virtual? How can we help our kids cognitively, psychologically, emotionally, and physically engage and pay attention in the learning process? What does the research show? So, I just want to share with you some ways in which we are trying to optimize student engagement. And I just want you to know it's important to us so that part of your feedback when you see your child is disengaged or you see areas in which we could promote student engagement better, either for your family or for your child's peers, that you'll know that this is a priority for us. So one of the ways in which we think the research says that we can improve student engagement in online environment is by providing opportunities for personalization. So I believe kids are built for individualized instruction. I think that's why homeschooling works. And so, how can we at AIM Academy help individualize? Well, we have 150 classes. We're approaching 34 teachers. We are offering regular track, honors, and AP, so students and families can sort themselves into what best fits your needs. What are your priorities? I know when I homeschooled, I was very focused on writing. I wanted my kids to have plenty of time to learn how to write well. That was a priority in our homeschool. And so in other areas, I wasn't looking for them to be over challenged. I wanted them to be college ready, but I wasn't really looking for them to prioritize some of, I don't want to name some of the classes that we didn't prioritize because some of their former teachers might be in the room at the moment. Um, but right, isn't that homeschooling is, is uneven, and that's best when kids are personalized. We provide academic coaching. If your child is struggling and not keeping up and you need some extra support and they need help with executive functioning and just planning and making deadlines and knowing that there's somebody who they can meet with regularly who's in their court, then that's what academic coaching is for. We also have tutoring. I think our tutoring is very reasonably priced. Almost all of our teachers will provide tutoring, which is for kids who need some extra time, extra personal one-on-one outside of the classroom. That is available. We've been adding labs. So how these labs have been functioning, we have labs for science, but we also have ELA labs. Most of our English classes, especially at the middle school and the early high school, have a second optional add-on, which is an ELA lab where the teacher is providing practice with the skills that we're focused on or providing homework help. We have labs now for math. I'm hoping that we can add labs for foreign languages next year. We're finding that labs, this second meeting that is focused on students getting support as they actually do this stuff, is really helping students with course completion and improving their grades. And you'll see we've been adding electives, and we have board game design, which I didn't know that that was a thing, but it's hugely popular, doing very well. We have architecture, we have forensic science, neuroscience, a lot. We have found that if we offer some of these electives or alternatives, we have media literacy this year. We're going to be introducing legal studies. We have some exciting new teachers coming on that'll be offering some pretty cool courses. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we are finding that electives are also popular, and we are aware We are aware of graduation requirements in the 50 states. We've looked at them and we are seeing that there's more diversification happening, like, for example, in the sciences for what can be used towards those graduation requirements. Some of you might not be in a state where you're working towards graduation requirements. It's our impression that most parents are trying to align with whatever the graduation requirements are in their state because most parents, not all, want their kids to be college ready. Like college is an option. So we're working backwards from what are the college requirements. So these electives, in some cases, like forensic science or neuroscience, is being accepted in many states as one of your three science requirements in high school. So personalization is what we're all about, what we're prioritizing for the future. And this is a new initiative that I want to loop you in on because we think it's very valuable and very important. We're in a season of trying to build out student life and create culture and connection for our students here at AIM Academy. So they're not just having an academic experience, but for those students and those families who are looking for greater connection with each other and with us, we are currently figuring out how can we generate student life at AIM Academy. Again, these are optional. We don't want anybody to consider feel pressured, but for those students who want it, we've added clubs. Our French club is our oldest club. All of our clubs are going very well this year. We have the largest enrollment in our French club this year. We've added chess club. That is very robust. We've launched writers club, a writing club, and our Aim High newsletter, which I hope that you've had a chance to see our newsletter. I'm just thrilled with our newsletter because it's a very active club. And it's also helping us to foreground student voices and student work here at AIM Academy. It's giving your kids a platform for recognition. We've launched our Student Center, which could not have gone any better. I mean, it has surpassed my wildest dreams. This was an idea from our student intern. And the student center is for our high school students. They have discussion threads. They have a live chat. We're talking about game night, hangouts. We have plans. We're working on it every week to create opportunity for our students who want to meet one another and find other students like them with similar interests, or just to help our students feel like, hey, we see you. We're interested in you. We know you as a person beyond the classroom. The DSP is the Distinguished Scholars Program. I run that. It is for students who self-identify as academically motivated and intellectually curious. And it's an opportunity for those students to meet other students who also are academically focused. And a new thing about this, the DSP, is it is now being run by a student planning committee. Um, and it is going 100% better than last year. I had a great time last year, but I was trying to figure out what we should do. And now that I'm allowing the students to plan and to participate in, what happens in this club, the energy is palpable. And also new is we have our first student intern, and I am wanting to expand that into more opportunities for student interns. A student intern is Jeanette Coton, and she's a phenomenal young woman who started the Aim High newsletter. She came to me with the idea for the Student Center. She launched that. She and her mom are managing the Student Center. And what is kind of central to our student life initiatives is that they're student led. So we are allowing students to have opportunities to start things here at AIM Academy. And for myself and other teachers like Natanya Cook is helping, Dr. Karen Joseph is helping. To mentor the kids, but allow them to have opportunities for leadership, which is often missing on those college application resumes. And also getting back to student engagement, there's just so much more engagement when there's ownership, right? When it's your idea, you're invested in its success. When you're a part of somebody else's vision, they have to continue to captivate you and interest you. So that's the future. Uh, and here's some practical ways. Here's our plans. We're going to be adding programming and other technical skills. We've just hired a computer science teacher who's going to be offering Python and JavaScript, introduction to Python and JavaScript, second semester. She's very experienced working with homeschool students, runs her own classes locally, and so we're going to offer introduction to program second semester with her, introduction to 3D modeling and animation. So we're very excited to be adding more technical skills. And we're going to be adding conceptual science options like conceptual chemistry, conceptual physics, to help kids complete their science requirements with maybe less math. We're adding more AP courses. We already know for next year we want to be able to offer all of the AP courses we possibly can. And we're creating certificate programs. So we are paying attention to the fact that um, while many students are still planning to go directly to college from high school, we are paying attention to apprenticeships that are on the rise and direct to the workforce that is on the rise, starting small businesses, entrepreneurship that's on the rise, and going into the trades or technical training after high school. Like we're seeing a shift. So when we're future forward, we want to look and work backwards from what future do our families want their kids to be prepared for? And so we want to create opportunities come alongside you in those endeavors. So one of the things we're looking at is maybe some certification. If kids take like 5 of our science classes, could there be a STEM certification? If they take 5 in the fine arts, visual arts, we're trying to build out the arts offerings that we have here. We have graphic arts, studio arts, drawing. Those have all been well received. So we're actively looking to hire and expand the arts and STEM or STEAM type offerings, and maybe create some kind of certification because we want to create recognition. So that's what the DSP is about. That's what the club's about, the newsletter. We want to give kids opportunities to be recognized so that they can experience those, have that experience, and also have that on their resume. And we'll continue to add more sections of core classes. So we have more and more families in more and more time zones. It's getting very crazy trying to keep track of what time zone everybody is in. And so we want to have more options because we know the schedule is probably what matters a lot in terms of can I choose these classes for my kids? And we're looking ahead, and some of our rough ideas are around mentorship, student mentorship, older students, mentoring younger students, advanced students, say in French, mentoring younger students in French, perhaps even some meetups. If there's interest, we're starting to have clusters of families who are located in, say, the Philadelphia region, or San Diego, or Orlando, or Dallas, Fort Worth. Do those kids maybe want to get together? Do they want to form some study groups? Do we want to have some study groups virtually that we facilitate through the Student Center? I know Vicki and I, our kids did a lot of AP courses together, and we had study buddy groups in which, going into the AP exam, they just got together and they quizzed each other and rooted for one another and all celebrated for each other when they got very invested in each other's success. So we're looking to create some of that vibe and energy and support in an online environment if we possibly can. All right, so now that's where we're headed. Let's talk about AI policies and our process because this issue has been forced upon us. Um, you know, I have spent the summer really diving into AI, listen to AI podcasts, um, especially focused on AI in education. And it's coming. So here's what I've concluded. Here's what I told our teachers. We had a training or a PD around it this summer, and we're in the process of getting, their thoughts. AI's here and it's not going away. So I don't think that we can ignore it. I think we have to be deliberate about how we're going to relate to AI. So AI is, in a nutshell, it's machine learning. It's more than just using technology to accomplish tasks. As the simplest explanation for AI is tools and applications that learn as you interact with the tool. So you can have something like an AI tutor for your child, such as Conmigo, which is the AI tutor over at Khan Academy. And as the student uses AI tutor, that AI tutor gets to know that student better and then can calibrate its feedback and its suggestion to that student. It's getting very personalized, right? It's being integrated in many college curriculum. It's, in fact, the University of Florida is one of the places that adopted AI broadly quickly, and they took it out of the computer science department, and it's in all of their classes, all of their degrees, all of their curriculum, and their students emerge. If you got a fashion design degree, you know how to use AI tools related to fashion design when you graduate. And their students are being highly recruited, like it's a job magnet, because almost all professions will use AI, and most jobs of the future will require applicants to have AI skills. With that said, there are many ethical issues surrounding AI, among them the use of student data. So when a student is interacting with an AI tool that is learning from the interaction, essentially what's happening is a lot of data, information about that student is being collected. So we're concerned about that. You should be concerned about that. Where's that data going? It's almost like DNA. If you think about if we had AI in education all through your child's growing up years, you really would have like pretty much um, a boatload of personal privacy, and you just have an awful lot of data. So I'm thinking about that. I'm concerned about that. We're talking to our teachers about that. If AI tools are adopted in education, will students develop critical thinking skills and have normal brain development? I think that's one of the biggest things we're talking about with our faculty is, if they can use like Chat GPT to get answers to questions or to help them write essays, did they really learn how to write and how to think critically? Or are they just going to use something like ChatGPT the way that you'd use a calculator, right? Students can use their calculator just to solve math problems. And it's true that we do not have mathematical reasoning skills like we did 20, 30 years ago because we're using calculators, we're using navigators. We don't have logistical or spatial relationship type skills like we would have 50 years ago because we use a navigator to get everywhere in our car. Um, so what's going to happen if students start using AI tools, especially before adulthood or before adolescence or during adolescence when their brain's developing? I'm worried about that. AI tools, on the other hand, will allow teachers to personalize student feedback and assignment. AI tools can enable students to learn using targeted feedback, expert models, and critical thinking discussions with AI tutors. I wanted to just give you an example of how AI was being used in one of the podcasts that I listened to. that I thought was pretty remarkable. So you could, like, we could create an AI tutor that was just unique to AIM Academy. And so these two college professors created AI avatars for themselves, and they trained their AI avatars on all their lectures, and they had written textbooks on their textbooks, on all the articles. So basically, their intellectual property, their expertise was what they gave to their AI avatars. And they made these avatars then available to their students. And you could ask the avatar anything. Like you could use the avatar if you were working on your homework assignment. It would give you assistance. It wouldn't tell you answers. It would ask you questions. It would give you some expert models. The teachers had determined what this AI tutor would and would not do for its students. And there was a lot of debate at the university about these professors doing this because parents paid for these professors to teach their children. Was this sort of cheating? And would students use these avatars then and not learn? And basically the outcome was that students learned exponentially more with the AI tutors embedded in the course. And one of the reasons why was because students were not hesitant to ask for help, where it took a lot for students to get up the courage to go to office hours and to ask the teacher for help, or to raise their hand and ask what might be a stupid question in front of their peers. It was very low barrier to asking the avatar for help with their homework assignment. And then because the professors could see everything that the students were asking of the avatars, they were able to realize where the real problems were. So a lot of our teachers here at AIM Academy run a flipped classroom, and it's dependent right now on the student coming to class and telling the teacher what he or she needs help with. But when they had these avatars, the professors were a lot more readily able to recognize and then cue their teaching to that. So I thought that was pretty mind-boggling and pretty intriguing. So I would say that I am aware of some of the opportunities that AI tools would provide. But I also think it's something we have to be very deliberate and careful about and thoughtful about. And so that's part of what we want to do here is to update you. So what's the current state of affairs at AIM Academy if you don't know? Students may not use AI assistants for assignments unless approved by the teacher. And currently, I'm only aware of, I think, one teacher has talked with students about using something like Chat GPT for drafting. But right now, we are not actively using AI with our students at AIM Academy. We're sort of got our finger in the dam. Um, we are using AI to generate class summaries in Zoom. So right now there is a summary of this meeting being generated in Zoom, and I'm going to send that to you afterwards so you can see it. And so that's an example of how we're using an AI tool in our teaching, and that's available to our students. So to me, the class summary, I think, has some benefit. First of all, for me, when I look at it, I use it for meetings and for the DSP club meetings. It helps me remember what we talked about and what we said and who said what. And also is kind of a nice thing to give to students when they miss, as opposed to the expecting the student you're going to watch this hour-long recording. If you look at the summary, you can see, oh, I better fast forward to the last 15 minutes because that's when she talked about the assignment. Our teachers are using ChatGPT, not all of them, but we've showed them how to use ChatGPT in some of our training. We've encouraged them to use it for course descriptions, for syllabi, to get ideas, for lesson planning. Even I use it. I have a subscription. I use it all the time. I think I'm a good critical thinker, or at my age, I don't care. what's the shortest way to get this done? I'm a professional writer, so I use Chat GPT all the time to draft and then I rewrite it. Like I'm an adult, so it is really making me much more efficient, and it's mind-blowing how much time I'm saving, but I'm already fully formed, right? Like I'm grateful that I had all those years without AI tools, and now I can use it to serve me. So the teachers are using in the background. What we do have this year going on is we have purchased a plagiarism AI detection tool, and it is active, and if it's not active all the time, the teacher had to activate it. And we couldn't afford the granddaddy of plagiarism AI detection tools, which is Turnitin, which would tell the student if you the really expensive tools would tell the student before the student actually submitted, hey, this looks like it was plagiarized. Hey, this
Deb,
has
ours does that. Our students, that if the teacher sets it up the way that I have showed them how the student can turn it in first, they'll get the report saying 45% of this looks like it was from these websites. The student then has the opportunity to fix that and then turn it in a second time before they're graded. That's how the teachers are using plagiarism.
I didn't know that. I thought the teacher got the report
Did
too.
you miss that meeting? No, the students get the report too.
Yes, but okay. So we have something going on. Obviously, I'm a little bit behind the curve. So just there's a plagiarism AI detection tool in play because it's a real issue. I'm sorry to say, but and I think that if we don't have it in play, it just becomes an overwhelming temptation for more and more students to quick go copy paste from somewhere. And we do have a license for Class Companion, which is an AI tutor that has not been used yet, but is available for our English teachers and social studies teachers. When students are drafting essays, they can use Class Companion to help them write those essays. Teachers can use Class Companion to help them grade and provide feedback on essays. We just met with our English faculty. I was really pleased with how thoughtful they were being about this. They're not using it. They're just getting authentic assessments of their students and getting comfortable with where each of their students are this semester, and then they might use Class Companion next. They just want to make sure that they know what a student's current level of skill is. Um, so what are we doing? We're gathering input from all stakeholders, teachers, students, and parents. We're considering teaching responsible AI use and allowing students to use in certain classes, which would be designated in course description. So we are open to using AI tools if we have the support of the community. We are considering teaching a mini course on responsible AI use and future applications in the workforce. So we could provide training in AI for our students if there was support for that. Current feedback, I was surprised, is from our teachers and the distinguished scholars students was they're very reluctant to allow us to use AI. So I found, at least with the teachers who we've talked to so far and with the students we've talked to so far, there was this a pretty high level of hesitancy towards introducing AI into our curriculum. So I'm curious to see if that's where you are. We have a survey, we'll have a chat here in a minute, but that's sort of the lay of the land. Some of the things we could do to help discourage the use of AI by our students without the unapproved use of AI is teachers are gathering authentic samples at the beginning of the course, or parents are providing an authentic example that they knew the student produced without outside assistance. We could use more oral exams. We could test students through a conversation or through an oral exam. Some of our teachers are talking about that. We could ask parents to proctor exams. If we have some of our assessments, students absolutely can't use AI or plagiarize if I'm not talking about your kids. Obviously, your kids wouldn't do this, but other people's kids would do this. if there's the opportunity, if they know, like, okay, like on this test, I'm not, it's going to have a lockdown browser or it's going to be proctored. And so it's going to be a true reflection of what I know and don't know, then I can't be cheating on my assignments all the way through the course and getting 100% on the homework because I'm using unauthorized assistance and then I'm getting a C on the test. My mom or my dad are going to ask me about that, right? So we need to have some, we need to have some things in place that prohibit the use of unauthorized tools. We could create the mini course, what we talked about, show students how to use tools to learn and develop critical thinking skills. So we could introduce them to our students. In my mind, this would be for 10th through 12th graders, and we talk about the importance of you got to learn how to think for yourself. You need to be able to write without the assistance. And then here's how you can use these tools. But if you show them, then they'll become aware of what they could do. Because we are a learning services provider and not a school, we're not the school of record. You are the school of record for your children, or your umbrella or charter school is the school of record. It is up to each parent to determine how they want their child to interact with AI tools, and we will respect that and we will support you in that. So this is not going to be like AIM Academy has this policy about AI and we have to align with that. Whatever policy we have, for example, if we do use it in some classes, we're going to make sure that we disclose that to you up front so that if you do not want your child to be introduced to these tools, you are not inadvertently introduced, having them introduced into your homeschool program without your permission. We, we, I would die on the hill of parental rights to oversee their child's education. Just so you know, we're here to help you. And we need to have clear communication with parents in order for that to happen. Like, you need to talk to us, you need to talk to our teachers. We need to know what your preferences are. We have over 600 families at AIM Academy this year, and all indications are we'll grow again next year. And I mean, I don't want to be huge. I'm not trying to become out school. Um, but we're willing to get much larger than what we currently are because getting larger allows us to personalize more. We can have more clubs, we can have more choices, we can have a more robust schedule. So we'll need parents to communicate with us. So thank you very much. I'm now going to stop sharing. If you want to take a snapshot of that, or that's on our website, that's how to contact us. That's how to contact Vicky. When you text, that's Vicky. Um, thank you very much
So
for
did you want to do
chiming in.
raffle off one of those?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, we're gonna raffle off a $25 Amazon gift card right now.
All right. So I've got,
She'll show you one of her cool tech tools.
yes.
And we're gonna do it once again at the end.
So number 17 won, and I can tell you in about, I'll put it in the chat who number 17 is as soon as I get that figured out.
Okay, yeah, because then we'll need an email.
Yes, I'll need you
Okay,
to.
all right. So let me see. I need to be able to see all the participants. Here's what I want to talk about first. And you can raise your hand. Do you have the ability to raise your hand? You want to practice that? All of this things.
Melinda is the winner.
Okay, Melinda, do we have an email for Melinda? Thank you. All right, that's probably too many people for me to uh, manage. I think I'm going to need you to raise your hand or put it in the chat. Let's talk about future plans for like 7 minutes, and then we're going to talk about AI. And then I do have the survey, which Vicky's going to put if Vicky, go ahead and put the survey link into the chat a couple of times. So if people have to leave, they'll get that link.
Okay, will do.
All right. So the Selbert family. Is that going to be Parker or Shannon? Do you have a comment for us or a question?
Oh, no, we're sitting here together. We were testing the raise hand and
Oh,
we followed directions. We did succeed, but we apologize.
oh, okay. Celine, do you have a question? I'm now going to start calling on people. You have to learn how to lower your hand. Sunitha, do you have a comment or a question? Thank you. Oh, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm new to the AIM Academy this year, so my son is really enjoying. We are very happy. So he's a first time and fifth is a fifth grader, but he has an ability to take the higher level classes. I do have questions. Basically, uh, it's in homeschooling is also new for us. So if I need recommendations for any of the camps or an applications, will you guys, the teachers will be able to provide, or what will be the procedure for that?
Vicki, tell her what we do about advising.
Okay, so there is an application form for advising. And yes, we'll match your son up with one of our teachers who is willing to do advising. And I'm sorry, I was typing in that thing. I didn't hear all of the questions. So you,
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sunitha, so yes,
Yeah.
you could go ahead, ask the teacher, but if you, we do have academic advising. And so if you, the form is on the website, on the contact page of the website. And maybe this is some feedback. Maybe more families would say we didn't know how to ask for that, but we have a form, and then we do have an academic advisor. It's Vicky. If I don't do it, Vicky does it. We do have I mean, we have teachers who are helping us, but and we have a couple other, we have about 5 teachers on the leadership team who also help us with the coaching and advising. Lindsay.
Oh, I think I was looking for recommendation. Is that the same form? Advising is also same as recommendations?
oh,
Are you looking for recommendations for what classes to
Uh,
take going
no,
forward?
I mean to say like a recommendation letter about a student for some camps or some class.
oh,
Oh, okay. How your letters of recommendation? Yes, they
Letter
should
of
approach.
recommendation.
Yes, we're in the thick of it right now. So if your child needs a letter of recommendation, just a couple quick tips. Let your teacher know at the beginning of class. I'm going to be looking for a recommendation from this class. Would you be willing to provide me with one? And then each teacher will tell you what they might need. I mean, I usually have students, I usually talk to my students before I write a letter recommendation to make sure that I'm writing it according to what kind of enroll what they're trying to get into. So yes, our teachers are used to writing letters of recommendation, Sunitha.
yeah,
Okay.
it's best if you contact their individual teacher who will have better contact with them and know your student better.
Okay. Even when you are in the high school also, if for the colleges, if we are looking also, so that also will be taken care, like if I am looking for.
Yes. Yes, it's the teachers of the classes that they take through AIM Academy Online. Those are the ones that you would do. We also will provide a transcript. There is a form for that if you need the transcript for colleges and that sort of thing. We'll provide that.
Thank you.
Lindsay and then Nancy.
Thank you. We are first year at AIM Academy as well. I have 2 boys. They are sixth and eighth grade. My eighth grader, this is his first time doing any online class, so the coaching really sounds interesting to me. I wasn't keeping up watching their Canvas grades, and I logged on and I said, "Oh my gosh, you said you've been doing science every day," and he probably was doing science every day, but he wasn't coming to full completion. So the coaching aspect that you mentioned tonight is very interesting to me. So I'm not sure how to approach that. If it is something that would help him, once you get your 5 lessons behind, that can be a bit overwhelming for a student. And I'm trying to help him through, but mom's help is not as attractive as someone else's.
And the academic coaching, Lindsay, is very reasonably priced, and they'll be an advocate for you. So the coach will let the teacher know that the student's in academic coaching, the kid wants to catch up, he's new, all of that, what you just shared We are a learning services provider. We are here to support homeschool families. That doesn't mean that we'll take late work anytime. But it does mean that if there's parental support, like how to get the most out of AIM Academy classes is we know that there's a parent supporting and we're on the same team. I don't know of any teacher who's not working with those families when they're trying to catch the child up. Like course completion is very important to us. We have to report that for our accreditation. In case somebody had mentioned that as a concern, we are accredited. We have two accrediting bodies now because we need to be accredited for California. So course completion is very important to us. So if we have parents that want their kids to complete the course, we want the kid to complete the course.
So
So
where do I find the coaching?
it's right on. So that again can be requested on the contact page of the AIM Academy website. And also if you go to browse courses, it's the very first option that comes up. But
Okay.
this is good feedback for me. The questions you're asking, because we're getting ready to work on a new website or redesign the website, and knowing that people don't know how to find stuff is helpful.
Yeah,
Nancy,
thank you
I'm
very much.
sorry. Thank you. Nancy, I'm going to try to get everybody in as much as I can.
Oh, I just wanted to quick jump in. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
I just want to jump in regarding recommendations because I'm a little further down the road. My daughter's had AIM Academy classes maybe 4, maybe 5 years now. She's a junior. And I just wanted to say one of the benefits when you get to that place, because that's where we're in the recommendations place for special camps and special things. What's really awesome is when you make a connect with an instructor like Liliana has, you have the benefit of taking them multiple times over the years. So you have a really strong relationship. So when they are doing a recommendation, we've multiple times gotten the feedback like, wow, she's been her instructor for several years. So there's several benefits, not only for instruction, it's called looping. When you've had the same teacher again, it benefits the student. They know each other, they understand how they're working together. But I guess I want to encourage some of these new parents that there's some really neat things that tonight we were focused on AI and different things. But as you go through the years, you'll start really appreciating the number of classes that different teachers teach on different levels so you can continue to keep working with them.
Thank you for that lovely plug, Nancy. Nancy's daughter, Liliana, is the chair of our DSP planning committee this year, and she's really doing a great job investing in that club. How about AI? I'm open to any other comments or questions now about our AI policy, feedback, questions, thoughts.
Deb, this is Tanya Cloton.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I think you're doing a great job with introducing AI. I wholeheartedly support your effort to, create some sort of class for the children to teach them how to use AI responsibly. Because, like you said, I mean, this is something that we can't stop, and it's something that they will need to learn if they want to progress in society.
Thank you, Tanya. And Tanya's daughter is Jeanette, and her terrific son Omar. Jeanette's the one who's running the student center for us and is our first intern. Steely.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, so the only concern about the AI tool for the plagiarism that you guys have in place, my daughter Wilhelmina did her physical science test sitting next to me, and when we put it through the program, it was like 76% of it was plagiarized, and she burst into tears. And I knew she hadn't plagiarized it. I was watching her take the exam. She had to write all her answers. So I contacted Dr. Joseph about it, and she was very understanding. So sometimes the tool, especially like science, when you can only say the definition in very few ways, the tool can be a little tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
absolutely right
very,
about that.
go ahead.
As a science teacher, there is only certain ways that you can explain one certain concept in science, and it's always going to sound like it comes from that. But that is part of what we do in our professional development is letting our teachers know that. So, but I guess what I'm hearing you say is that we need to have our teachers explain that to the students so that they're not panicking when they see that.
Especially she's junior high,
Yeah,
so seventh grade, so she panicked. It was all okay after Dr. Joseph talked to her, but
good.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, we've talked to our teachers about creating assessments that can't be plagiarized, but I think that's really helpful feedback because I think teachers then in certain subjects like who are giving like science or teachers need to prepare students for, hey, here's how this tool works. It's imperfect and we're just we want you to be aware of it. That's where I think like Steely, the fact that you were sitting right next to her, I know like I don't want to burden parents, but I think we're going to have to ask parents for a little bit more oversight or to verify, right? Like
Mhm.
that teachers should alert parents, I'm going to look for you to verify on this exam. Like not on all the assignments that would end up being burdensome, but periodically we're going to have some assessments that we're looking for parents to verify and we'll trust parents, right? Because if we have a parent who doesn't care about plagiarizing, that's possible. We can't be more invested in the child's academic integrity than the parent is, right? So we're going to do what we can, but that's the majority of our parents are going to want to have we're going to be on the same team. Anybody else? Vicky, can you put the link to the um survey into the chat?
I did. I'll do it again.
Okay, and can we have one more winner?
We can. Do you guys want to watch it spin?
I do.
Okay, here it comes.
Another $25 Amazon gift card. Thank you for your participation.
All right, here we go. $27. Okay, I will let you know in a minute who 27 is.
All right. Crystal or Manny, did you see a hand? Did you want to make a comment? Their son Leonardo does all the icebreakers for us at the DSP. Gets us
Oh yes, he really enjoys being in the DSP. I was just wondering what like the other parents said because Leonardo and like my desk were in the same room, and so I noticed that there are things like that. Like he doesn't use AI or other things, and he usually has me or his father like look over things before he turns them in because he's like, my eyes are tired. Can you look to see if I missed any commas or periods or any feedback that you want to give me before I submit it? So I think it's just interesting because there was a time recently where he missed like a number on one of his tests and it popped up the answer like after grading. And then he's like, but that's not how it's written like on here, like what we're like the study guide that we're allowed to use. And I was like, well, would you like to message the teacher about it? And then he's like, no, because I feel like what if they think I'm lying? And then I'm like, okay, well, that makes that he applies a lot of pressure on himself already. And so I just kind of feel like, okay, but next time I think we're gonna have to say something because he's like, I'll just take that I got it wrong. And then I was just like, I don't want you to do that though. So I feel like also when it regards to AI, if sometimes I feel like, what if it's that kids are maybe like you were saying, not understanding like maybe there's just so much academic pressure that it's causing like academic burnout, so they're running to something that's quick and easy because it's maybe like an overload, like the way that times are today. Maybe some things they feel like this is just something I can't, and maybe they're just rushing to the AI generated stuff. I mean, I don't condone that stuff either. Like I said, Leonardo does not use ChatGPT or any of those things, but it just could be a possibility because last year he was like right on the verge of academic burnout. And I did communicate with the teachers and told them, hey, we're going to take 2 whole days. We're going to like get out of the house. We're going to shut the computer off. We're going to just focus on family time, And then when he was energized, he went back and did it. So I just wonder if it's maybe sometimes the students need to be more open if that's how they're feeling, because just generating a AI thing and then sending it, it's going to be worse for them, like maybe it's just maybe that way. I don't know. Cause I think about that. Leonardo, with all his other medical stuff, he's kind of on the verge of another academic breakdown, but with support from us, like family support, we're like, okay, we're going to take a couple days again. And then, you're going to get back into it. Cause he's like, I would love to join like the chess club. I would love to join like the newsletter. And he goes, but right now I feel so much pressure. And I'm just like, okay, sorry, I don't want to cry because he's just such a strong student and he puts a lot of pressure on himself.
Well, thank you for sharing, Crystal, because I think that that is reflective of more of our students. I think that the more of our students are very conscientious and, like Steely illustrated, would be mortified if a teacher accused them of cheating or plagiarizing. So, and in an online environment, I think one of the greatest challenges we deal with is miscommunication and misunderstanding. When Vicki and I taught at our homeschool co-op, like we knew our students, we saw them in person, you could see their face, you could clarify, you could talk to them in between your class. You just have opportunities to quickly clear up misunderstandings. And you also knew which students were really sensitive and which students really needed pressure applied. All of that gets flattened in an online environment. So I think my takeaway is I want to make sure our teachers understand, like, we're not here as the AI or the plagiarism police. We're not policing our students. We want to have some tools. We want to listen to our families, but we want to also make sure that our students, we're over communicating our support and our openness. Like, I think maybe that's something I might put in the community notes just to remind parents to encourage their students to talk to their teachers. Like, teachers would just rather have an over communication than an under communication, because our teachers also feel horrible when there's a misunderstanding, and they'll lament it and they wish that they could go back and have a do-over. So anyways, hey, thank you very much for your time and attention. Vicki and I are going to hang out in the room. I'm going to stop the recording.